dead people. There's some spirits in this house, so raise the roof. There's some spirits in this house, so raise the roof. I was looking in the mirror when I think I seen a demon. Look like the devil, but hell, I never seen him. I was reading Revelations when I heard the voice of Jesus. Daddy left my mama cause she wouldn't kill a fetus. I spend most my nights having sessions in the cemetery, finding all my prospects, checking the obituaries. They think I'm crazy Craig, I got that scary J type to play the Ouija, laying in a shallow grave, turning shit up a notch like no one else. I see dead people, yeah, maybe I could use some help. I see dead people every time I'm stepping out. I see dead, I see dead, I see dead people. There's some spirits in this house, so raise the roof. There's some spirits in this house, so raise the roof. I see dead people every time I'm stepping out. I see dead, I see dead.
Hey everybody, the picture that I'm using actually gives away this next video, but it was the best picture that would represent this video. So, Robert the Doll, better known as the real Chucky doll, is an evil doll that currently resides in Key West at the East Mozzarella Museum. There are countless stories about this cursed doll that has spanned decades and generations. In the early 1900s, a family in Key West bought the doll for their daughter. It's not clear when they first noticed that something was wrong with Robert, but it seemed to have been sometime around the 1918. The family found themselves at odds with the doll, and his behavior became more ironic over time. They had him locked away in the attic, only to find that he would escape and create havoc downstairs on occasions. Eventually, the family just left Robert in the attic until he was given to the museum a decade later. The story goes back even farther than this, though, a lot early, really, as far back as the 1890s. London, where 13-year-old Charles Barton went into business with a toy maker and began creating dolls for children. Barton wasn't just a businessman, though. He was an artist, a sculptor, a painter, and even a musician. He had been well known in society circles since the 1880s, when he was introduced to London's elite at one of the Queen Victoria's banquets. Charlie Barton, known as Charlie by his friends, created Robert as a part of the family future of Robert Earl before Robert became cursed. Eventually, a young boy named Eugene Robert Odo was gifted that original homemade doll by a servant, believed to be a Belham descent, and originally loved the toy. It was mostly made out of cloth and straw. Eugene decided to name it Robert, but the little did he know that what he possessed was actually an evil doll. At that point, all he knew was that he loved the doll very much. So much, in fact, that he had his parents build the doll its own room, complete with furniture and toys. It wasn't unusual for Eugene to find Robert the doll at the foot of his bed at night, just watching him. In fact, it became a frequent occurrence. However, it didn't take long for things to escalate. The family found themselves dead smack in the middle of a haunting, and everyone believed that Robert the doll was to blame. The cursed doll was responsible for moving inanimate objects and overturned furniture at times. Eugene would even find himself locked in his bedroom for no ability to escape. When asked, Eugene would always blame the cursed doll. The only words that he would mutter were, "Robert did it," over and over again. Besides moving objects and locking doors, something else strange was happening in Odo home. Eugene's parents often found their son talking to the doll at all hours of the day and night. Eugene spoke to the cursed doll as if they were friends, and if he was responding to the questions and answers. The two slide conversations, if you would, but the parents only ever heard the son's communication comments. It was obviously eerie and kept everyone on edge. The entire house believed that they had a possessed doll in their presence. The family situation took a turn when they started to hear Robert the doll respond in an entirely different voice than their son. Robert the haunted doll was actually engaging in real life chatter, and that was all Odo's parents needed as proof. The doll was in fact cursed. The real Chucky doll of Key West is has more to it. Is this the real Chucky doll from the most scariest doll movie of all time? I know what you're thinking. We have all seen the movies. We have all watched the sequence of the stories sound incredibly familiar. Did Robert the Doll story influence Hollywood's Chucky? Something to think about. This Chucky doll is in a museum from might be the real the real deal. The story doesn't end there for Eugene and his parents. Eventually, the family reported that the doll would change expressions and even move. Eventually, the family reported that the doll would even change expressions and even more move from one side of the room to the next. It was not shy about what it wanted to do. It wanted to be seen and heard. No, isn't that strange? Eugene kept Robert the doll his entire life. He never wanted to part from the cursed doll, even when he was married and he had a wife of his own. Rumor has it that he even gave Robert his very own room to live in, his own bedroom, almost like a child. Eventually, Eugene's wife, Anne, had enough of the nonsense and forced her husband to lock the possessed doll in the attic. And, as you can imagine, that made Robert the doll unhappy. There were rumors that he would taunt little children from the window, running back and forth from one side of the attic to the next, and rocking the rocking chair. All impossible things to do, unless you're a cursed doll. Even every time Eugene went up to the attic, he would find Robert in the rocking chair near the window. Somewhere he did not place him. No matter how many times the evil doll was moved, he would find his way back to the rocking chair. Crazy. Unlike the Chucky movies, this particular doll did no actual harm to anyone. Thank goodness. So while his actions were a bit mischievous, they were low-level efforts at best. How did Robert the Doll end up at the East Montreal fort? Once Eugene died, the family moved out of the house and the new residents took over. When they found the possessed doll in the attic, the youngest child began to play with it and soon realized it wasn't a typical doll. She told her parents that the doll was evil and it wanted to do her harm. They immediately removed the doll and his teddy bear from their home and gave it to the Eastern Montreal fort, where visitors can see it on display today. He currently sat inside the glass case and protected people from getting too close. No reporters of residual energy has been made by the new residents. They immediately removed the doll and his teddy bear from the home and gave it to the East Montreal fort, where visitors can see it on display today. He currently sits inside of a glass case protected from getting too close. No reporters of residual energy had been made by the new residents. He remains on display for your viewing pleasures, and if you are lucky enough to be visiting during Halloween, then you will be in good luck because they also offer a costume contest with a prize money. If the doll's mood becomes too unpredictable or worse, violent, employees will move him to a private room that he can't escape from until his temper cools down. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, museum staff make sure not to get caught up in Rob's wrath by believing any of his threats or promises, which may include being suspiciously haunted, as well as remaining calm throughout whatever event might unfold, which includes attacking a visitor or just simply refusing to come out of his room that he's kept in. You can tell if Robert has been active within 24 hours before you visit by heading over to the museum official website. Look out for updates like, "Today, Robert was not feeling very sociable." The doll has been haunting this museum, and even since its opening back in 1991. Why is Robert the doll haunted? It is unclear how Robert became evil, but majority of the people who reached this topic guesses that the creator of the doll, the Oto's haughty servant, used black magic / voodoo to try to get back at her employees. If voodoo can put a curse on people, it can certainly put a curse on inanimate objects and other household objects. Rumor has it that the family servant was terribly mistreated, and it was her way of getting back at the family who had done her wrong for all those years. She made the doll evil with her supernatural powers. Regardless of how the haunting come to be, it is clear that this haunted history is a terrible beginning, and many people had horrible misfortune bestowed upon them, enough to inspire an entire horror film. So what do you guys think? Do you think that Robert the doll was actually the reason why the Chucky movies were made? Or do you believe that the Chucky movies were made off of a totally different thing? Let me know in the comments, and like always, remember, stay creepy and let me know what you think of everything.
Man, I see a spirit, I know that you can hear it. I don't even fear it, you can tell that I'm near it. When I burn the sage, all the evils come to rage. When I'm on the stage, groupie witches want my babies. Hey girl, I can haunt you like Zozo. No clown shit, you can call me Bozo. I'm just lurking like Freddy, and here he comes. Claw marks down your back, yeah, you better run. They can see it in the shadows, yeah, they know it's done. I see dead people, I'm about to fuck this nun. I see dead people every time I'm stepping out. I see dead, I see dead, I see dead people. There's some spirits in this house, so raise the roof. There's some spirits in this house, so raise the roof. I see dead people every time I'm stepping out. I see dead, I see dead, I see dead people. There's some spirits in this house, so raise the roof. There's some spirits in this house, so raise the roof.